Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Good morning and welcome to the 5.5 Legs Virtual Cigar Lounge. I am here with Bones, Mort, and I'm Maverick, welcoming you to the show.
If you caught the last 30 seconds of our conversation, we're talking about our friend Alan Rubin, who's looking for employment with a
Cigar company.
Actually, he said he didn't really care if it was cigars or not anymore.
No, but he went into this whole how much experience he had and all that. But yeah, he's just looking for a freaking job.
Yeah. So if you know of anybody in the cigar industry that's looking for a good sales rep, hey, look,
And a good sales rep.
I'm telling you, this guy was top notch.
Absolutely. He worked his behind off.
Yeah.
And he'll go wherever. He'll travel wherever.
I think so.
You know what I mean? He'll get on a plane, train, or
If I'm not
automobile.
mistaken, he's out of Texas.
Mhm.
If I wasn't mistaken.
I believe
So
that.
he's centrally located to anybody that wants East or West Coast. Hey, hit him up. He's on LinkedIn. He's on Facebook. Really good guy. He definitely will do a good job for you.
Karen Berger would be smart to pick him up. She needs to be big in Texas. I don't, because she used to have Brian Diggins. I don't know who's doing Texas anymore. But
You
anyway,
should mention that to her.
we're smoking. Two of us are smoking the McAuliffe Red, and the only reason I picked that, I just told Mort, is they're coming out with the purple supposedly at the PCA.
Not supposedly. It's coming out.
How about that?
And we
They
made
make a good cigar.
Mhm.
I enjoy it.
we made a pot of Sunrise Blend from Coast Roast Coffee in
Gulfport.
Gulfport.
You know, as far as price point goes,
Oh, it's affordable.
the McAuliffe line it's very affordable.
Yes. And it's a decent, good cigar.
Oh, it's better than just decent.
Okay.
I think it's a good cigar.
Okay.
Good.
I like the blue one.
Yeah.
The blue one's really nice.
Yeah.
Most people like the black because it's a Madura. And, but everybody seems to pick them up.
Yeah.
They do sell. I mean, they've been there for a while now, but
Price wise, they
go
they
quick.
work out.
Oh, they're very.
It's tasty.
This red is $8.99, I think. I mean, it's not compared to the shop I went in yesterday.
Ooh.
These are cheap.
So I'll tell you why I didn't want to get rid of mine this morning. I've been cleaning out some of my old cigars.
Yes.
This is a Camacho Liberty Series,
Oh,
What? You still have that?
2012. Now you can see why I don't want to get rid of this.
no.
No, not at all.
I'm
That's tough to smoke.
Oh no, it's good to smoke.
But
No, I'm just saying, but it's gone, and then you got a couple of them.
This is one of the last ones.
Don't you think
Oh.
though, when they first came out, before they got aged, 15 years, they were okay. I thought they were a little overrated when they first came out, but I guess when you age,
Look,
10,
any
15
cigar,
years.
if you let them sit for a long time, they get really, really good. So
what's up, Patrick?
Patrick Mortensen, how you doing, Morty Facts?
So
You do the IP again today?
speaking of which, I was just going to get segmented into that. Well, all three of us are into this, into
The bracket.
the March Madness, and we saw a little bit of madness yesterday. didn't we?
Yeah.
Right?
There's definitely some upsets.
So I'm gonna tell you what. I'm sitting over in Gulfport yesterday afternoon, and I'm looking at the headlines flow through, and Clemson was getting their asses
Oh, dude, they got.
Handed to.
wore out.
They were
Yeah.
they were all over that on ESPN this
What
morning.
happened with that, you think?
It's not red. They were not red.
They did come back, and they gave it a good gallant try. I think they only lost the game by less than 6 points,
Okay.
but they were getting their asses
Huh.
wore out.
So in other words, you're saying they turned it on too late.
Yes, way
Okay.
too late.
They figured it out.
Way too late. And
So-
they got beat by a low seed. Or high seed. No, low seed. We go low.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were.
They were low in the rankings.
So there were a couple of them that got hit by so Morty just told me he lost by 2. So
How about that?
dude,
Whoa.
they were getting just fucking curb stomped.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, who is that guy? Do we know him?
Scotty.
Ferguson. Good morning.
I have
Too
no idea.
honey.
Auburn. Okay. Oh, I don't remember what bracket they're
There
in.
were so he said it's a 5-12 matchup, but there were a couple of them that were like that.
Those
like,
are tough to pick. The
Whoa.
5-12s.
whoa.
But Ed was getting on me yesterday, going, "Well, you're in last place." I said, "Dude, one day, and now you got a fucking backlog of everybody tied up and this and
Oh
that.
yeah, there's first place and seventh place.
He picked McNeese State too.
Are you kidding me?
No, he
No,
did.
he didn't.
Yes, he did.
How?
Smoking crack or something.
Dude, that shouldn't even have been. Didn't even cross my mind. McNeese State over Clemson. But he
No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have suggested that. If anything, I would have looked at somebody else and said, well, maybe this one's better. But McNeese State is not one of those that comes out every year, and you're like, oh yeah, you got to watch out for these.
Yeah,
guys.
they're the Cinderella
No,
guys.
they came to play yesterday.
Oh, they were loaded up.
But now I told now I picked Creighton to win in my other ones, but not in the one we're all in. I just thought Louisville was going to beat them, and Creighton beat them.
So
Teams come to play during this time.
Morty and I were talking about it this morning. He's got him. He says he thinks he's got it going into the 8. I had Clemson.
Who's going in the 8? McNeese?
Clemson.
Oh,
He thought that's what it was going to be.
I had Clemson winning this last game and winning the next one and then getting beat.
I think I had them winning this one. I'd have to look and losing the next one.
So I don't have any bracket busting yet, but
Okay.
that was. I'm sure that there were a few people that, especially Clemson fans,
There might be today.
that got their brackets busted up pretty good.
Yeah. Sure, a lot. The majority.
Well, again, if you thought they were that good, you figured they were going to be playing the number 1 seed in that.
Yeah.
At least.
Right.
I
enjoy the
Yeah.
bracket. I think it's cool, fun. We have a good time with it.
It's like fantasy football.
Um,
Makes every game.
But I like to watch the young guys do what they're doing because they're trying to play their very, very best.
Yeah, because it's one and
And it's like under the pros, if they feel like they don't want to feel like playing that good and they don't. Everybody's trying to play their best.
But you don't see many seniors that might go pro dropping out of this tournament like they do when they get to the football playoffs.
Oh no!
Wait a minute, I might go pro. I'm not going to play.
Now these guys are
I'm
playing.
sitting out.
Whole different game.
Actually, you don't see too many seniors in college basketball either.
Not
If
really.
they're good,
They're
2
going.
years and they're
Going.
gone.
Yeah.
Because Kentucky used to be the one and done school.
Kentucky and Louisville were that's what their whole motif was.
Yeah.
Get them in here, get them playing, and get them out of here.
Yeah, I when Brendan was here with his friends one time, and they were talking about the one and dones, and they were going back and forth between Calipari and Kentucky and why Kentucky these other schools were better than Kentucky because they're picking all the best players and they're going one and done because that's where they were going. They figured, all right, I'm going to go play for a year, I'll go pro,
And I'm going to go pro.
and then I'll do. So I did learn something. I was on a Sammy.
Quarterback.
Okay.
Testicle difficulty.
So I learned something on a Zoom call on Wednesday night with the TPA, which is I can never remember what it stands for. They're just trying to get all. Yeah. Just go to tparocks.com and it'll explain exactly what it is. But anyway, Ish was on there, and he's one of the guys that formed this TPA, and he's going to be teaching the tobacconist course. Okay, so he said something about getting some folks in the TPA to take it and shit. I said, well, I'll take it. And I said, I know, and they want to get, because this organization is trying to get consumers involved in the business, when it comes to cigars, accessories, branch
Just knowing what's going
knowledge out. I said, well, I got some consumers that I know be willing to take it from the consumer end.
Well, Mike Bryant did it.
Yeah, he never finished it.
I thought he
No,
did.
he did. He finished it.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he definitely finished it.
Yeah, I think first level or whatever, maybe even maybe even more, because you know how he is. If he digs his heels into something,
He's doing it.
Oh, I didn't think he finished it. But
No,
anyway,
he finished it.
They came up with two questions. He said there's two questions on the test that everybody always fails.
Okay.
He said no matter what. One is, what is the top leaf on the tobacco plant?
Sun grown?
That's what I said. And some folks said it's the Lajero. Everybody on the Zoom got it wrong. It begins with a C, Cantana or something, whatever. Said, okay, that's good to know. Then he said they actually have a question on the test. So how do you properly refill a lighter?
You bleed it first, obviously. You do not shake the can of butane.
Right.
You turn the butane upside down, do a stem down into the lighter, and you jiggle it a little bit to make sure that you get
The
bubble
right
around,
fit. The right fit.
and should be it. And then light.
And that's pretty much what everybody on the Zoom call said, and we all got it wrong. So I said the same thing you did. And we were like, well, what the hell are we missing? Well, apparently
Adjusting the height, maybe.
it makes total sense. He said when you bleed it, turn it to the lowest level possible. So when you're filling it, there's no room for air to get into the thing. So you don't have to shake it or jiggle it for any bubbles. It blocks out all this. And that's actually okay. It's good to know.
Okay, so what
Didn't
I
know
do, and this is just me because I'm just that I've done it and it just seemed to work out the best.
Okay.
I'll bleed it,
Right.
and then I'll click it to open up the air passage and hit it with the bleeder again because there's more air in there.
Yeah, sure.
And then once you click it like that, you're actually bleeding all that air out. So
Okay.
I get a really good fill
Phil. Yeah.
when I do it. That's just my method, and it seems to work for me. So when Bones said, you adjust it, yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah.
I never turn it all the way down because
Never thought about
it's
it.
just a pain in the butt if you've got some that
No,
you need the screw to.
Yeah.
You need the
Like
screwdriver.
this one's not bad because you can just go. Yeah, but the ones with the screwdrivers, you got to go in and turn it.
Which is why I gave everybody the bleed tool and the screwdriver
It's on my keychain.
for
Larry
Christmas.
Stokes.
Good morning, Larry. How you doing?
So I'm on my way back from Orange Beach yesterday. This is a Sammy story. I go to Havana Reyes, and I was going to stay there and smoke one. So I picked up a couple of Africans. I like African cigars.
Okay.
Let me specify that African cigars, not African boys or anything.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
Got 3-4
you got
cigars
Bob
I like.
excited.
And I went to go get a Perdomo 12th anniversary Madura, which is probably one of my favorite cigars.
It's a good cigar. Yeah.
Box is empty.
Whoa.
So I go to Garrett, who was working. David wasn't working. He goes, "Oh, let me look." He goes, "No, we're all out." I said, "You can't be out." And I picked another cigar. I said, "I'm going to sit down and Sammy attacks." But Sammy, I came to Havana Reyes to get a 12th anniversary Maduro specifically for Bruce, and they're out. No, they got the whole line of Perdomos. And no, they got the whole
Okay.
line, but they're physically
Out.
out. So he said, "I will take care of that when I come back when they're next week." But Ed said he's going to be here
Tomorrow night?
tomorrow,
Yeah, play poker.
sometime today
So-
or tomorrow.
Is Havana Reyes a Perdomo lounge?
I don't think so.
You would know by they would have
I didn't see
the
any.
lounge edition Perdomo.
No.
There you go.
Then I didn't see it.
Well, he would have got that wrong too then.
I'm just going by what Ish said, So I apparently there's another leaf. It's the actual. I think he said
Sammy,
the flower.
we gotta go
or the
out to
bud
eat.
that's on the very top,
Oh, okay.
and they use
You
it.
must
they
go
use
out to
It, they
eat.
use it for something.
Sammy the Bull.
He's saying no.
Okay, so-
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk offline on this.
Um,
Yeah, I never. I mean, I know the construction of a plant. I thought the Lajero or the Sungrown was the top leaf.
Okay.
He's saying one thing, Sammy's saying another. So I'm going to do some more research. on
Research it up.
But
That's fair.
ashes.
Oh.
This is way off the subject of cigars, and you've probably read this, but I read this morning that the House and the Senate in the state of Mississippi passed the tax bill,
Yes,
and they are eliminating state tax,
the income tax.
state income tax. in the state of Mississippi.
Nice.
How long that's going to take to go into effect?
It's a long drawn out.
But
they voted yes on it.
But
yes.
they passed. They passed.
Nice.
They are increasing the gasoline tax to counter that.
Which makes
So okay, if you guys follow what the fair tax is,
I don't, but tell me.
but the
Enlighten
fair
me.
tax is a tax on consumables. Like if you go to a store and you buy something, the fair tax, everybody pays what they consider their fair share, right?
Okay.
Whether it be 10%, 20%, whatever. It's overseas they call it a value-added tax, a VAT tax. But looking at what our state's trying to do is they're shifting the loss of the income tax, state income tax, to sales tax on gasoline.
Okay.
Which hurts the trucking industry.
Yes, big time.
So they're actually, they're going to try to fuel up in Alabama or Louisiana.
Okay.
But it does
make sense.
It does hit up the automobile guys more. So what they're going to end up doing is the EVs are going to take a hit too. They're going to add more. They're going to charge more to the EV owners.
If there are any more EVs, the firebombing will. But only the Teslas.
Well, yeah, in blue states they're firebombing Teslas. They're not doing that here.
Does that make any sense? That makes no sense.
Not really. All right, so top leaves. Okay, you said Sesco. The middle leaves. You said it started with a C.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I can go back and re-look at the tape.
Thank you, Scotty.
And double check.
Scotty chimed in on that. That's pretty good.
That's something else.
You must be bored.
That's why they call it Siri.
Yeah, I know.
So we got the basketball tournament. Baseball season is going to be in full bloom in what's today, 21st?
Yeah,
6 days.
I saw that some
Nice.
teams already have points,
Yes.
and I guess that's from the season opener overseas and all that
on
stuff.
the 18th
Right.
between Chicago and the Dodgers.
So-
Otani's already got a home run.
My
Yeah, a
question,
bomb, Patrick said.
my question for the commissioner is, because if you play in the fantasy baseball, you see where it says innings pitched, it says 0 out of 20. Is there going to be a penalty this week for not having any pitches? Not meeting your 20 requirement.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying, Bones?
Oh, absolutely. And that's a damn good. Well,
because I think everybody's going to get hit if there's a penalty.
I don't think it is, because I don't think there will be a penalty. And Patrick's on, he'll definitely, because all those players are marked no game.
Right.
So I don't know if.
Right, but unless you got 20 pitchers,
Like all these pitchers, no game, everybody's
scroll
got
all the way
no
down,
game.
you'll see where.
Yeah, those are bench players.
No,
All your pitchers are in your lineup, and yeah, every one of mine has no game except for the one that actually
played in overseas,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So I'm assuming either everybody gets hit or there's
Right.
not going to be a hit at all. Okay, so last week while we were on the show, we were watching some industrious gentlemen doing some work back behind us.
Oh yeah,
And it's in.
Yes.
It is in.
The smoke eater is in. They did a great job.
Oh, the installation it's beautiful.
In
You
and
know what I
out,
mean?
in
It
and
made it look like it's meant to be there.
Exactly.
in and out in less than a half hour.
So I will say that it didn't meet the expectations that some people had said that it would be.
Right.
That it still has, and there's some lingering smoke up in here.
Oh yeah, but not like it was.
Not like it was, and it's strategically placed. It's where it should be.
Absolutely.
The box said it should handle 6,000 square feet. I mean, it works if it's on high all the time. No smoke.
Right.
But if you got 1 or 2 people in here smoking,
You don't
why
need
on high?
You don't need
How
one.
much electricity it burns, I don't know, but we leave it on low overnight because apparently I was told last night it's got an ionizer in it.
So it takes care of the smell.
So he said leave it on. Smell like I don't know. I didn't really smell anything this morning coming in.
No, I will say running overnight, because you got on a Friday and Saturday night, you got from 10 to 11. That's That's a little
Yeah.
over 12 hours.
Yeah.
On a weeknight, you've got well over 12 hours.
Yes.
Of this thing running and doing nothing but purifying the air.
Yeah,
So-
I think it needs to stay on low.
In the morning, it does knock down. I'm not opposed to the smell because obviously I smoke cigars.
We like it.
But there are some people that would come in and they would say, "Ooh,
Yeah.
You got
Delivery
a
people.
little stale stench."
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's how I feel
Sure.
about cigarettes.
Wow, cigarettes are terrible. It really is a stench.
Well, if you're in here all day, it gets in your clothes. You're going to smell like cigars, but not as overwhelming as somebody that's been chain smoking all day.
Oh, true.
Mhm.
True.
You're right.
Crazy, but
we did agree, folks, that that what we could do to really take that residual smell out of the air in a joint is to put an ozone machine in and run it at night.
Yeah.
That would
They're
clear out.
reasonable too, aren't they?
Oh yeah, less than $100.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was surprised when I went on Amazon and looked and said, all right, this ain't that expensive.
No, as a matter of fact, both of you know that I smoke in my vehicles,
Right.
not in Mrs. Mort's.
But your
But in
personal
mine-
vehicles. Yeah, I do too.
I'll take an extension cord, run it out of the garage, and put that ozone machine in the Chevy.
I was going to ask
Really?
you. I was going to ask you how you did that.
Yeah.
Now I don't. I wouldn't have to do that because I got the plug-ins in the front, in the back seat, and in the fucking bed.
No, I wouldn't run it off your battery though.
You don't think?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't do that either because that could be bad.
Those are meant to be run with your engine running so that the alternator
Okay.
runs that.
Yeah.
Well, I said I wasn't going to smoke in my new vehicle, and I haven't smoked yet.
Well, and that's good.
Maybe down the road, I don't know.
And if you do,
Right
you
now,
do. If
no.
you don't, that's fine. It's your preference.
Right now, no.
But I smoke in mine because I smoke.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I wanted one. I wanted to leave Havana Ray's yesterday because
Oh,
I had like a half a cigar left. I was like, no, I'm not smoking in my truck.
But question I have for the panel. This
Okay.
is your vehicle.
yes.
Why should you not be comfortable in your vehicle?
No, there's nothing saying. There's nobody telling me not to smoke. That's just my.
Just now it's new and you
that-
want to
that's-
keep it that
That's
way.
my choice right now.
But when the new smell leaves of the car, they all have that new smell. Maybe you break it down when that leaves.
Now, if I take that to Florida to go see my sister or whatever,
You're
8 hour
smoking.
drive, I'm gonna smoke something in the car.
Does your back window
Slides over.
slides
I
open?
put the front windows half down, the back window out, and the smoke kind of
It just
tears
blows
out.
right out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all
But it
right.
still gets in the smell for some reason.
You got leather seats?
Yes.
All right, so it's better than having cloth because the
Yeah.
cloth would absorb it. So you get leather.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you wipe it down with something and you're all right.
Today, I don't know how many years ago it was, but today was the last day Alcatraz was open. They closed Alcatraz.
I actually went and saw that.
This day, I heard it was pretty
I did a tour.
pretty
It's pretty
spooky.
cool.
It's
The Rock.
That's a
it's
great movie.
it's interesting getting there because
Ferry?
doing the boat tour in the San Francisco Bay, it's cold as hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Brutal.
and this was summertime when we
Yeah.
went to. I was wearing a jacket.
Well, they said the coldest summer they ever had was a
Summer
in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Summer '69.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
And they told us that on the ride when we were there. Of course, it's wearing down. It's not it's not well maintained.
No.
But I'm telling you, just out of seeing it, I don't know how somebody could have escaped that
Right.
place and lived because that water is always cold.
Right. And it's a mile to the land.
It's in
That's a long swim, brother.
the currents around in the Bay Area is pretty rough too.
Well, both Clint Eastwood and
Yeah.
Sean Connery made it out.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like him. I don't know how the hell they would have made that swim. That was.
You know what?
just
If there's a
nuts.
chance, there's a chance.
Well, that in the way that they did it,
Yeah.
and you had the ranger, the tour guide that was
He was
explaining
discussing it. Yeah.
what they did, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, so before they even left the prison compound, they're in the water, and then they got to swim out into the water
Right.
from from this area, and that means they've got to break through the protective barrier, the metal, whatever,
Yeah.
underwater to get through that. There was just a whole lot of these guys. If they made it, God bless them.
Yeah.
Because
I'm hoping they did.
we've never heard anything about them since they have left.
Yeah.
So the assumption when they did the tour was, yeah, they're dead.
Yeah.
They became fish bait, whatever the case
Right.
was. Because you gotta wonder.
They gotta be dead by now. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
even if they made it out, age-wise, they gotta
But you know
be
what's
dead by now.
funny? When they did escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood and how they did it, you know what I mean? With the rafts they made from rain jackets and stuff like that, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It left you to think,
It's possible.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah.
They probably didn't, but it would be nice that there was two brothers and Clint. I remember their names back in the day that who did it, but it was two brothers and Clint.
Yeah, it was two brothers.
Yeah, two brothers did it, and there was going to be a fourth, and he couldn't get the jump into the whatever it was up and towards the roof.
Yeah. I mean, look, if honestly, I at this point, I think if those guys did make it, I think the U.S. Marshals would have, because they were like they wanted those guys
bad.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
because the warden was pissed they got as far as they did, and it made him look bad.
Right.
Speaking of the warden, I read an article yesterday. They're doing a Shawshank Redemption 2.
I heard that.
I did,
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
The premise is a new warden took over, and he hunted down Andy and
Oh yeah, Andy
Red.
and Red.
Okay.
Yeah.
and Red goes back as like a
Hey, Patty.
a prisoner activist. Activist. You know what I'm talking about. Can't get it out. And Andy is working from the beach to both get the disc on the new warden because he's doing shit worse than the first warden did.
Gotcha.
Wow.
But
And them two in it?
yes.
Great.
You know what I think would be a good movie or a good hour-long show? Break it down into a couple of different ones on Netflix, obviously. That prison down in El Salvador.
Oh, dude.
Ooh.
We were watching that when I was in Orange Beach with Andy. The prisoners coming off, getting shaved, getting bent down, put in the
Duck
thing.
walk, yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way I want to go in that one. I don't want to go in any prison, let alone that one.
That is not a place that you want to go.
It's
You don't
high-
want to be
high-
there committing a crime
High max.
because you're in deep trouble.
You're right.
The people at prison who were in prison here and then went there, they'd say, man, this was a cakewalk.
That's Venezuela, right?
No, it's El
El
Salvador.
El
Salvador.
Salvador.
So the president of El Salvador is saying El Salvador is the safest country in South America now.
Said it's wide open to whoever you want to send down here. We'll take them in our prison. Dude, they're getting paid some good money to house them.
To house them, right?
But look, you gotta imagine the prison guards when they were told that they're getting these bad mamma jammas coming down there. They were looking at each other going, boys, our time has come.
Yeah.
We're getting ready
We're going to
to
get paid for
rack
it.
some freaking heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in that, they were carrying the baton.
Dude, from the second they walked out of the vehicles, that's all you saw was these
batons.
batons.
Yeah, so they were
They're
using them.
cracking them. Yes.
It's terrible.
So this
Don't they have to walk?
Yeah, they duck walked them.
You duck walk them, and then they all shave their heads,
And
shackles, everything, man.
but no hair,
Nope.
just a baldy like
white,
mine.
White boxers and white t-shirts.
Yeah, wait, and that's what they do.
And flip flops or
Yeah, they may have them flip flop type shoes.
Warminster,
Warminster.
is that how you pronounce it?
that's probably
Warminster?
Pennsylvania instead of
Yeah, that's my friend Patty.
Yeah, IPA.
IPA.
54 there, which ain't bad.
Yeah, no, this is way off the subject.
How do you guys like the cigar? Just
I always
I'm good.
like the red,
I'll tell you what,
I always
top
like the
quality. I really like it.
and if the purple's better,
Is the purple more heavier? Or
I don't know the profile. I
they
don't
really
know.
haven't. I don't
Change
think that
much of
they.
anything.
I don't think they've come out with what the difference. Of course, we had the benefit of Alan coming in here and telling
yeah,
us
been telling us. Yeah,
what was
sure.
going on. So, hey, Mandy, I'm afraid.
Mandy, good
I'm
morning.
afraid we're missing a little bit of that corporate knowledge.
Okay.
It's really sad to see him go. But
You know, it ain't light as the wrapper goes. It ain't too heavy for me,
Right.
which is nice. You know, I like a light to medium
Yeah, yeah.
all around. And really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's a good smoke.
It's
good smoke.
It goes good with the.
So remember, it's the McAuliffe Red.
The red.
I know you can't see it, but it's the McAuliffe Red wrapper.
Yeah,
We have a blue, a black, and that's it, right? 3.
Oh no, you've got the other. There's other lines,
And they
too,
got
like
the
A
plain-
and all those.
But it's very, very good. If you can see that, zoom in, boom. For a guy who smokes light to medium cigars, I'm really enjoying it.
The A was made for the ambassadors.
Yeah, I give it a.
What's your rating, Mav?
8?
8. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go at least 8.5, 9
8.5.
9. That's nice.
for the
That's solid.
for the price point.
Oh, yeah.
For the price point all the way.
I think the price point actually gives you an extra half a point.
Yes, I agree.
Because-
Yeah, so I'm going to say 8.5. then.
Give it a 9.
So do you guys suddenly on Facebook, Meta, if you will, I'm getting these Portnoy pizza review things. He's going around the nation. He does.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Suddenly, I'm seeing all these, and it's like a train wreck, dude. I can't stop watching them.
Oh,
He goes into some of these places that you would probably pass up and not
Right.
even look at, and does these pizza ratings.
They're pretty funny.
If you can't tell by looking at me, I've lost over 60 pounds.
yes.
And losing the fact that I can't eat pizza like I used to,
Right.
that hurts.
Yes.
So I'm living vicariously through him
Yes.
doing this. And I've seen some amazing pies.
Really.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Well, you know, he did 2 of the places in Philadelphia that I've been to,
Yeah.
and he loved them. He loved them both.
There's one of them that he actually uses as the measuring stick.
He's never given anybody a 10 that I've seen.
Nobody. He has given ones low, and the owner came out and was
Yeah.
like,
8.3, 8.4, I think is. I don't know what his scale ends at, but I don't think he's found a 10.
"There's a
No.
place in Philly. It's called Tacanelli's, and that's the place he went to." Well, I think it's a couple of hundred for Friday and a couple of hundred for Saturday. And they always sell out, but you got to call up and reserve it. You just can't go in and say, "Hey, I want a large pepperoni." You have to call up in the morning and reserve it, and then you pick it up because
Well, that's a good business model.
they all
man.
sell out. And their Tacanelli's is really good.
I know he was there for the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So that's why the New Orleans ones were popping up. And at this one that I saw, it was in the area near Jackson Square. So it's down in the convention center area.
Okay.
They've been open 2 weeks, and he just stumbled across it. I mean, he's walking around and he sees this joint. He's like, "Hey, why not?" One of the highest marks, he says, "This is the best pizza I've ever had in New Orleans."
Wow.
Period.
Yeah.
They're still doing construction on their place.
Building,
right?
yeah.
So he looks at the owner, and the owner's a young kid. You know, how long have you been cooking pies and this kind of stuff? He's like, "Yeah, I like pizza, and I just kind of picked it up as a hobby, and now I open up a shop." And he says, "Dude, get ready to get slammed."
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
Good.
I got one other thing.
He is
One other thing coming at us.
I read this article, and as always, when I read anything medically, I check with my friend over in England who's a pharmaceutical science, whatever, and say,
Scientist.
He's a druggie.
how true is this? How true is this? The UK has launched the world's first trial for a cancer vaccine. Thousands of patients will be given world's first cancer vaccine. I said, "Will, how true is this?" He said, "Absolutely true."
Wow.
He said, "It's happening."
Wow.
And Big Pharma can't do anything fucking about it.
You know, the crazy thing about
Because they're not in the United States.
that's an interesting thing, because Big Pharma, has the ability.
I think you're right.
Oh,
They have the ability and the capability to do it.
I think they already have it.
They don't want to, because you've got a person that is sick, that's, physically ill. If I can stretch their life out for 3 to 5 years, and they have to use our stuff every day for that 3 to 5 years,
Trillions.
that's bank. That's money. For them.
Trillions of dollars.
Well, you
That's
get
money. I hope they do find something.
You guys know my situation. So if they were the way he explained it to me is, we got our FDA and they have their version of the FDA. And normally when one does something and it comes along and it works and whatever, and the FDA approves it, the one over in England will automatically take the FDA's
Ruling,
approval and
per-
run with
per
it
se.
and go.
Probably their
And
research as well.
And vice versa.
Right.
If the UK comes through and says this is it, the FDA, no reason to not get
Do
this.
it. But why do they wait?
Money.
It's all about the money.
Yeah, I know that.
It's like
I'm
the-
just saying
it's like
is,
the
but
oil
you know
guys.
what? Do you have any moral fortitude to say
No.
no? You don't.
Not at all.
There's
No.
the answer to my
It's
question.
just
And that's fucked up.
It's just like the oil companies. Oh, you want to go hydrogen? You go. Somebody says, "Oh, I got a car that can get me 90 miles to a gallon of gas."
Right.
In like an SUV.
And then it didn't.
Money.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. They
And then-
outbuy them.
Then they all disappear off the planet.
So
Remember when Tucker, that movie Tucker?
Yeah.
When they made the car with
Oh,
the three
yeah.
headlights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The big three, all of a sudden,
Jeff Bridges.
yeah, Jeff Bridges, that's correct.
along the
Made it disappear.
Mandy, I'm with you. RFK will flip this world upside down.
along that lines, what you're talking about, Bones, is there's video surfacing now when COVID first was announced in Wuhan, in China. Okay, so you've got Dr. Fauci, part of the World Health Organization, coming out saying,
Dumbass.
you know, this is a big one, this is a bad one. You need to get vaccinated. You will be safe from it.
Wrong.
Fast forward like
A year?
maybe 8 months later,
Okay.
and he's talking about how he's been triple vaccinated and 3 times boosted and all this stuff, and he's still got COVID 4 times.
Yeah.
And they asked him, you know, you said at the very beginning of all this that your vaccines that you were pushing
Yeah.
would actually save people from catching it. And
Right.
he says, yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes we get things wrong.
That was his answer. Pretty much.
Essentially.
He said it medically wise, but
Yeah.
the layman's term is we got it wrong.
We got it wrong.
I understand.
So I've got friends that refuse to take the vaccine.
Right.
They call themselves True Bloods now. They just refused everything. In fact, one of them I worked with civil service. He says, if I got to leave civil service, I got to go
Right. Because that was his belief.
because I'm just not doing it.
I had
Right.
I had an Air Force captain was like that. So I don't know what to do with my family. So you do what you got to do for your family. If getting the vaccine, you're at 16 years. You got 4 years to your retirement.
Yeah.
Why would you throw that away?
Right.
I mean that's.
I mean,
But
lot
you
of,
got to remember, your belief is your belief.
but a lot of
yeah.
those guys, they came down to the wire. We're talking 48 hours before they were given their termination letters.
Right.
Before
Making that decision.
before they came out and said,
Wow.
we're putting it on hold.
Now,
They already had people that had left.
Mm-hmm.
and President Trump said, "Come back,
Bring them back.
bring them
Bring 'em back,
with
which
full
is
We
res-
made
great.
that mistake.
with restitution and pay,
We
back
made
pay,
the mistake.
That's
which is
great.
going to be a lot of freaking money."
And I agree with Mandy and I agree with you, Bones. I think that RFK, and we've talked about it here in the shop as well, with regards to food additives and stuff. When you see what is prohibited in other countries,
Yes.
but yet it's okay here in the United States, we've got an issue.
Well,
Absolutely.
They showed that chart when JFK first talked. We allowed like 10,000 different freaking between dyes and
Additives and
chemicals
stuff,
and
yeah.
preservatives and all that. England, 400.
Right.
Now, like Ed said, we start taking that all away. Then you're taking the preservatives away. Food's not going to last as long. You just have to use it sooner.
You would think that the food industry would be excited about that because
Sell
that
more
loaf of
food.
bread is not going to last a month in your pantry now.
So now they had to buy another one.
Every 2 days because it's gonna get molded, right?
Yes.
You would think that they would be excited about this.
Now, Scotty sent a picture of tobacco leaf pairings. I got to read, but I think the guy was talking
At
about
the very, very
that
top.
very, very top thing, which isn't labeled, and that's
Right.
the flour, I think. And they use it for something, so I
Okay.
don't know. I can't remember what. I have to go back and look. But
Well, Mav, it's on you, pal.
Okay, for the 5.5 Legs Virtual Cigar Lounge, we're going to bid you a good weekend, a safe weekend, and God bless from Mort, Bones. Yes, the White Castle Cup. That's a nice cup.
I like it.
You know, if I like it, that means what?
Tabaculaire Perdomo.
That you're gonna offer me $50 for it.
Maybe.
Wow.
So you guys have a
50
great
bucks is 50
weekend.
bucks.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and have a great one.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Go Duke.
Go Florida.
I've got it.
Gators.